everyone, so today's video is going to be on this fresh spring look. I recently picked up a bunch of NYX products and I wanted to test them out, so if you want to see how I got this, just keep watching. So I'm going to start with priming my face. I'm using the Cover FX Calming Primer and I'm just patting that in. And then we'll move on to applying our foundation, which I am using the L'Oreal True Match Lumi in W3. And I'm using a stippling brush. This one's from BH Cosmetics, and I am just using that to stipple the product into my skin, and I feel like this gives it a more seamless look. It makes it not look so cakey. Next, I am going to use this NYX color correcting palette. I'm using the pink shade in the inner corners to help brighten up my eyes, and then I'll go in with the salmon colored shade where my dark circles are to counteract that. The salmon color and orangey colors will help counteract the dark circles and make them appear less noticeable. Next, I am going to go ahead and fill in my brows. I used to always fill in my brows first, but I've noticed that if I put my foundation on and do my brows right after before applying powder, it allows there to be a little bit more slip with the pencil, so I feel like I get a better overall brow. It looks a little bit more natural and it's a lot easier to clean up, as you'll see at the end of the clip of me doing my brows. You don't even need concealer or anything like that. You just take a concealer brush and wipe it and it basically just disappears. So I have been really loving this trick. And then this is the new NYX retractable eyebrow pencil and it is in the shade Chocolate. And then after that, I'm just going to soften it up with this brow powder from NYX in the shade Blonde, just to kind of go back over it and make sure they look even. And then like I said, I'm just going to clean up any areas where I went out of the lines or it looks a little wonky, and I don't even have any concealer on the brush. I'm just kind of moving around the foundation. So the first step for our eyes is going to be a transition shade. I'm using this like light brown shade from the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette, but you can use whatever light brown shade. You could even use a contour shade. It would work perfectly. This is really just going to give us a transition. Now that we have that down, I'm going to take this lavender shade of the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil and place this all over my lid. This is going to help be a base for the shadow we're going to apply on top. So the shadow I'm using is the shade Frostbite from the new NYX, I think they're the Prismatic eyeshadows, and they are so pretty. You do have to work a little bit to get the color payoff a little bit higher, but I really love them. They just have this really beautiful iridescence, as you can see. So I'm just packing that on my lid, trying to keep it below the crease. And then I'm just going to use a blending brush just to kind of clean up the edges. Before we move on to the lower lash line, I'm going to go ahead and do my under eye concealing and highlighting. I'm using the two shades from the NYX Highlight and Contour palette in the shade Light. And I'm just kind of putting that in a triangle shape and then patting it in with my fingers. Once we have that all blended out, I'm going to go ahead and set that with a translucent setting powder. You can use whichever one you have readily available to yourself. Doesn't have to be high end. I'm just setting it just so that it doesn't crease. And then with my Cover FX contouring brush, I am going to contour my face. I really liked this contour shade. I didn't know if I was going to like it or not, but once it's all blended out, it's just so pretty. So if you're around my skin tone, you should definitely check out the Light palette. And I'm just putting this, around the perimeter of my face where I want to help recede. You can totally skip this step, but like I said, this is all the new products that I got from NYX, so of course I wanted to try it out. Once I have that all blended out, I'm going to take this yellow shade and run it down the bridge of my nose, and then I'm also going to place it on my chin and on my forehead and on my Cupid's bow to highlight, and then I'm just going to blend it out with my foundation brush. And then I'm just going to set everything with a translucent setting powder so nothing budges. And to finish up the lower lash line, I'm going to take this Stila Stay All Day eyeliner in the shade Mint Julep, and I'm going to place that in my waterline and then use the shade Frostbite under the lashes. And I wanted a little bit more dimension on the top lid, so I'm using the shade Mermaid in the middle just to help bring it in to that mint julep eyeliner and kind of make it pop. And then I'll use a pale shimmery shade for the inner tear duct. Alright, now that we're finished with that, I'm going to move on to contouring. I'm using the NYX HD blush in the shade Taupe, and I am just going over the areas where we used that cream contour earlier, just to give it a little bit more depth. These new NYX HD blushes are very pigmented, so just make sure that you use a light hand when doing this, but I'm obsessed with this shade. It's perfect. For my blush, I'm going to use this HD blush in Soft Spoken and this Real Techniques Duo Fiber brush, and I'm just going to kind of pat that on my cheeks just to give a light glow. After that, I always like to go in with a Duo Fiber brush and just blend everything out so it's nice and seamless. And then I'm going to use this highlighter from NYX, which I am obsessed with, and I'm just going to put that on the tops of my cheekbone, down my nose, and on my cupid's bow. And I forgot to set my brows earlier, so I'm just using this NYX Tinted Brow Gel in the shade Brunette just to set my brows in place. For lashes, I am using the Cocoa Lashes in 205, and then once I'm done with that, the last step is lipstick. I'm using the NYX Cosmetics High Voltage Lipstick in Rags to Riches, and once we're done with that, we are completely done. Thank you guys so much for watching. Till next time, bye guys!